Hi, and welcome to this episode where we're going to explore balance. Why is balance important? And most importantly, how do we attain more balance in our life and in our day to day? So let's first explore the benefits of balance. Navigating through these times right now is potentially not easy for a lot of people. There's a lot of changes, there's a lot of perplexity, there's just a lot happening on the collective world stage and potentially in some of our personal lives as well. So creating balance is really one of the most supportive, powerful things that we can do for ourselves. It releases stress, it releases anxiety, or reduces stress, reduces anxiety. It helps us to be more physically, mentally, and emotionally stable and strong. It helps us to stay grounded, and therefore it helps us to be more clear and helps us to improve with decision making. And that's one of the most important things is, our power of choice, especially as we're entering more and more into this new consciousness, being able to emotionally regulate ourselves, get very calm and clear enough so that we can hear our own heart's guidance, our soul's resonance. And in order to do that, we need to really be calm enough to hear that and to be in our bodies. And when we're stressed or we're anxious, or we're really over busy, it's really difficult often for us to be, grounded in that way and just to really slow down and to be able to slow down enough that we can, again, not only just attain balance, but create potentially a unity and harmony between our body, our mind, and our soul. So a lot of benefits, most importantly, are just improved overall well-being and satisfaction and fulfillment of life, regardless of what's going on. Because most importantly, whatever is showing up for us in our day-to-day, in our life, or on the world stage, it's so important for us during these times to keep coming back and remembering that we do have the power to really give energy to and create and cultivate what we want to experience and what we want to see happening or birthing in the greater collective or in the greater stage, world stage. So in order for us to do that, often we have to be able to come back to just our own energy field and come back into our own center. So balance really helps us to do that, because when we are balanced, we can then be just more steady, more strong, and we're more resilient, most importantly too. So let's explore 3 steps or tips in order to attain balance or to start to focus on bringing more balance and cultivating it in our day-to-day. So first one is intention. Second is clarity. And then the third step and tip is action. So intention just simply means being able to intend, I would like to see more balance. I intend balance. I intend alignment to balance. And again, the more we're setting that intention, we're taking a minute and we're saying, I'm contributing to my experience. I'm contributing to my environment through my intention. Otherwise, the way the energies are now, if we're not actually doing that, because that's part of us being consciously creating. So if we're not doing that, we're going to be more hijacked, easily vulnerable to the collective thought forms and to the group energies, whether it's our group energies that we're surrounded with on a day-to-day or that greater collective energy, which is extremely turbulent and tumultuous right now, energetically and emotionally. So intention is, no matter what we're doing or no matter what it's about, intention is definitely a very foundational stepping stone for us, and one of the first tips or suggestions for us to kind of keep in mind in our radar. So starting off our day with intention, and then periodically throughout the day coming back, what's my intention here? What was my intention this morning and how am I doing with it? Do I need to, reset it again? And it can be also just very intentional throughout the day, going into a meeting, going into the grocery store even. It could be wherever or whatever we're moving through in our day, continuously through the day, just coming back and resetting that intention, or coming back into that mindful alignment of the intention that we chose for ourselves or that we created or that we are trying to really cultivate. Second tip is clarity. So often if we're not clear on what balance means for us or what we need in order to get into balance, again, it's going to be very difficult for us to attain that often. It's kind of like we're, a ship out on the ocean with no rudder, with no sails, with no motor. We don't really have anything that's directing us. Clarity truly is empowerment. So the more clear we become, then again, the more able we are to cultivate. In this case, we're talking about balance. So there's two ways that we can approach this. We can approach this looking at kind of like the greater whole of our life. And a beautiful way to do that is creating what's called a life pie. So you just create a circle and then you fill in potentially what your current life is, so that each of the parts in that circle will end up to be 100%. So you might have 85% is work right now, and you want to get it down to, say, 50% or 40%, so that you can spend more time doing other things, spending time in relationships, spending more time being creative, spending more time taking care of your physical body in a specific way. So that's just an example. So invitation, if this resonates, is you sit down, you create a circle, and you ask, so what percent am I giving and allocating energy right now, in my life, to these sections? And you create the sections that you want, that are, existing. So work, if you're working, relationships, could be social. So relationships could be personal, and then that could be more, social activities. It could be learning and growing. So growth, or things, that you're studying or want to just personal development. So it could be under that category. It could be leisure or travel. It could be physical health. It could be hobbies or taking time for creativity. So just creating, whatever you have, and then you create your ideal life pie. And then you ask, so how much percent in my ideal, amazing, creative life, just wish list here. If I could create my ideal life, what would be my percentage for everything that I'm doing? So how much percent would I allocate to all of these categories? And is there a category that I haven't included that I want to include? So have fun with it. That's just one way, again, to really gain clarity with it. And then we're also setting, when we do that, we're setting it down kind of in print. We're bringing it into that form and we can see it. And it's also, by doing that, is a declaration to the universe. So we're saying to the universe, this is my clear intention and, kind of alignment of what I want to start to create for my life. So that's kind of a greater whole of balance. And then another way that we can start to get really clear, and is really an amazing supportive day-to-day tool for us to do, is each day ask, what can I do today for my body, for my mind, and for my soul? So the body, before previously, we didn't really have to bring our body with us. So if we were even spiritual, or we were actually, or over intellectual, we were actually often taught that our body was a hindrance, and our body was just something we kind of dragged along and we put up with, or we just kind of forced, our body to kind of keep up with whatever we were doing. So in this new consciousness, coming into unity consciousness, we really now need to honor our body and find that unity and that harmony and connection for all aspects of ourself, body, mind, and soul. So the body, potentially for a lot of people, is sometimes the most difficult because of that, because sometimes we don't even recognize when we're often pushing the body beyond its limit, or we're sometimes not recognizing or acknowledging or hearing when our body's asking or needing something, because we just haven't been truly really trained or conditioned and taught generally to really take care of our physical body in that way, to listen to it. So it's an invitation for us is to actually think of our body and connect to our body as if it's a live, actual consciousness, a live being, because it is. And so when we approach it that way, like if you have animals and how you treat your animal, you may love your animal and you want to feed it and you want to take care of it and you want to, just give it lots of attention and love. When we can approach our body in that same way, that's just an example, then that starts to change our relationship with our body. And our body is so amazing. Our body wants to serve us, and it hears every single thing that we say. So when we talk bad about our body, when we criticize our body, when we're forcing our body is taking that hit. It's taking that imprint. It's taking that energy every single time. So it's kind of like every critical thought we may have about our body, it's like we're punching our body, that's energy to the body. So it could be just, going through our day saying, I'm just going to be more mindful today about my body. Or I'm going to move my body today. Even if it's 5 minutes, I'm going to do some bicep curls, or I'm going to go for a little walk, or I'm going to increase water today for my body. Or I'm just going to simply tune into my body and say, body, what do you need? A great way to do this too is write this out. And you don't have to do it this way. You can just simply tune into your body, or just intend, I'm going to do something for my body today, and start with what you know. So again, that could be just a quick walk. It could be, doing dry brushing for your body that day. Or it could be, again, increasing something such as more chronic foods. So foods that are alive, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, things like that. So the invitation, though, for us is to start to really ask, what can I do for my body, and how can I cultivate and develop a more loving relationship with my body, and what can I do today? And then the mind. So think of the mind as our personality. So both the body and the mind are really here to serve us and are vehicles through our experience navigating through this incarnation. And so our mind and our personality, again, we're trying to get into more of a soul-infused personality now, which means we're trying to get the personality, which is our ego self, serving the soul. So doesn't mean we're eradicating that part of us, but it means that we are trying to find that unity. So this is also another beautiful way, because the personality also needs to be honored and acknowledged. It's doing a lot for us. So is the body. So when we can start to, approach our personality from that approach consciousness consideration, then we will just start to feel more calm, more fulfilled, and just more satisfied, because we're honoring each element and each aspect of ourselves. So the personality or the mind could be, we're focusing on our thoughts, and we're just going to do some affirmations today. Or you might just tune in and ask, what does my mind need today? What does my personality need today? And you might find, my personality needs to laugh today, or my personality needs music today, or my personality needs, some time out. It needs some time out so that it can, just kind of get calm or figure out, what it wants to do, what it needs. The third one is our soul. Our soul is our true essence, and our soul is our light self, our true essence that stays with us through all our incarnations. It's that essence of us that is our true divine being, the divine connection within us. So often when we ask our soul what it needs, again, sometimes you might be surprised what it needs, but it could need meditation. It could need to be out in nature. It could need certain types of music. The soul might say, I need just peace. So what can we do today to cultivate peace? Or I need to be more loving. The soul might even surprise you and say, I need affection. Sometimes we think, well, that's the body or the personality. But when we start to really tune in and ask today, what does my soul need? Sometimes it's really interesting and surprising what does come up for us. So you may want to create your own categories of each section, like body, and have a list, 5 to 10 or 20 ideas of what you want to do for your body, so you have it on hand. Because if you're doing this, and some days if we're struggling a little bit more, busier, then we might not always be able to come back and remember, like, what was I doing for my body? What would my body need? So just a supportive, helpful thing that we can do is just create a list for each of these categories, body, mind, soul, so that we have things already there that we can reference from. But even higher kind of invitation for us is, can we actually just start to really intuitively tune into the actual consciousness and essence and energy of each of these different categories, body, mind, soul, so that we can start to honor each one by knowing, oh, this is what my body needs because my body just said that to me. And again, it doesn't have to come in a specific form. It doesn't have to look a specific way. It just means we want to be able to start to tune in and know, my body needs this today. I'm feeling this, or I'm being told this, or I hear this, but I know that it's coming from my body. Or I know that my soul needs this today because I'm feeling a little bit off. So the more that we cultivate this, the more clear we become, and the more aligned we become, and the more unified they can all become, because they're all being honored, and therefore they have the opportunity to become more synergistic amongst each other, with each other. And that's us as a whole being. So we want to start to really approach ourselves with balance, and that cultivates and creates us to express ourselves steadily, but in a place of wholeness, from a new alignment and expression of wholeness, which again, it brings us ultimately, or offers us this opportunity to come into more higher expression of our highest potential. But it really also really helps us to find deeper fulfillment and meaning in our day-to-day in our life, no matter what we're experiencing or what we're navigating through. So balance is a really beautiful thing. The other thing to keep in mind, another way to approach this, is energy out, energy in. So if I've got a lot of energy going out, it doesn't always mean it's going to be 50-50 equal, but it does mean I've got a lot of energy going out. So what can I do to start to allow some energy to come in? So this is kind of like that yang yin energy. So yin energy would be the energy that I'm bringing in. So that could be I need to be more calm. I need to do some exercises potentially like yin yoga, or just sitting down being quiet in silence for a few minutes today, or just kind of really relaxing, reading. Could be things like that that create the yin. And then the yang energy, which is more going outward, and that's very productive. So the interesting thing, as we're more balanced, we become more efficient and we actually become more productive. So this is, again, we're changing the consciousness of our mindset about having to do all the time. And what we want to do is we want to become just more in being mode. And in order to do that and feel okay about it, to feel relaxed, so that if we know we've got a big project we're creating, or a business we're launching, or something we're doing, you have busy children around, even just taking a couple minutes to kind of restore that yang yin energy ultimately helps us. It restores our energy, but it helps us to navigate through whatever we're dealing with more calm, with more clarity, with more purpose, with more efficiency, and with more energy. So sometimes at different stages in our life, we might have different opportunities that we're navigating through, or different stages. Like you might have a young family, and so therefore, a lot of energy is there because there's a higher demand for that. You might be launching a project, launching a new business. You might be planning some big, experience or adventure in your life, a trip, a wedding, something like that. It could be you're just retiring and you're trying to adjust to new balance. So it's not always about the energy going out. It could also be all of a sudden, I've got all this energy in this free time and I kind of don't know what to do with it. So it's both. It's kind of looking at, this is the reality of where I'm at right now at this stage of my life. And so how can I start to bring in more balance, body, mind, and soul, and bring in more balance generally in my life and in my day-to-day to support that with and in the reality of what I'm experiencing at this current time. So that's, the summary for us to just support ourselves navigating through life, navigating through our days, and most importantly, navigating through these times, is just to cultivate and to create a little bit more balance through our intention, through our clarity, and through action. Inspired action. Inspired action, that's the difference. We're not just pushing and doing. We're tuning in and we're saying, what do I need? What does my body need? What does my personality need? And what does my soul need today? And that's inspired action. That's coming from our own personal inner resonance, which also, win-win here, it strengthens that relationship with our inner guidance. And that absolutely serves our highest, path to start to open and express. So hope you have a very balanced and loving day. Namaste.